Let's hope this works for longer than before. 1 second. Okay, let me make sure this is working. I'm sorry, guys. I know this is annoying. Okay. This down. So I can move my camera down a little bit too. Can make this a little bit bigger. Lock these. Okay, let's see how that looks. Looking better? Hopefully this is looking better. I don't know how to make this. There you go. That should look fine. Okay, let's play off that today and then I'll figure it out. All right. Give me 1 second. Let me fix this. No. Hours, days, weeks, months. Yes. All right. So today we're going to be looking at this. You can see I actually withdrew money on my account, my normal account. There we go. I actually withdrew money on my normal account. How are we doing, everyone? Sorry, guys. I'm trying to figure out the settings issue. I was having issues with OBS earlier. All right, so I was trying to figure out my normal account and I withdrew money. I didn't know that actually counts. You can see some of the trades I took. This was the trade I took last night. And I took a very small trade ever since I did have a really bad losing day. I was up around $800, $700. I went from 2,300 after they took out the fees for CME to 3,000 last week for the first week of this funded account, and then I withdrew $750, and then I lost about 600, I think, in a day, 600, 700 in a day. So, you know, it kind of bit me in the butt there, but you can see where we're currently at $1,500 on this account. Those are the last two trades I've taken on the right side. And it's going to show the last two trades of every stream that I do. And then you can see the profit factor on the left side, which withdrawals do affect that to some degree, but you can also see them negative overall because of that $600 loss, a few dollars. But yeah, hey, appreciate it, sports. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know. This is going to be kind of more of an educational video. If I do find any trades before the market close, I'll take them. I have one type of trading strategy that I typically do trade. But I do trade a few others, and I have other suggestions if you guys have any comments or, things that you do want to learn about the market. So yeah, just let me know. everything that I'm going to say here, I can't lie. There's no physical way to lie. Everything is from through My Funded Futures, the prop firm. And every screenshot's on the screen right there of the trades I do take. Honest if I, mess up or anything like that. That way I can't like sugarcoat anything. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions. We're going to be looking at the market right now. I can only trade these 5 pairs on the right side. So we have M and Q, MES 1. We have the Euro futures. We have Bitcoin, and then we also have Russell 2000. I primarily stick with NASDAQ, and I've tried to dabble in the Euro futures. But yeah, that's what we're looking at. We can see on M and Q right here. So M&Q has been kind of difficult to trade today. I haven't really seen any setups that I like personally. We did have some, movement to the downside, but with the movement to the downside, give me one second. But with the movement to the downside that we saw, it's not really anything that's, I can take a trade off of because overall we are still in this, trend upwards. Okay, so there's not really anything I could take. If we do start to see a rejection or a movement upwards here, then I might take it, but that's why it's going to be more educational. So if you have any questions. So the whole strategy that I trade, and you can see it on the last video, one of the only videos I posted on the channel ever since kind of redoing the whole channel, is, this would be a short, by the way, but I mean a long. Let me actually take this. This is not something I would not trade. Let's see. So my whole strategy is I look for a gap, okay? A gap to form out of a breakout. So if we look closely at the structure right here, just this previous structure on the 1 minute, okay? I can assume just from my own strategy and from my forward and back testing that this is going to come up to here, okay? We retest it. We have a gap that broke the structure right here. We retested. We closed above. We're showing a bullish engulfing candle. So let me actually enter position here. And with this position, what I like to do is I like to take a trade. So we entered from there a little bit late on the entry, but I like to take a trade up to the area up here. So this is going to be a 1-to-1 trade as an example. But when we have this breakout gap or this gap that breaks above, when we see strong closure candles that go above it, that is the type of trades that I like to take. Okay, so whenever I see this reject and retest upwards, I enter additional position. Hence why I entered 2 positions, because it already showed me my setup right here. If we are in a bearish, we're moving downwards, I try to stick to lower risk. Okay, so for example, when this starts to move up like this, I might move my stop loss up a little bit more if we start to get some bullish engulfing. This should move pretty quickly up here. If it doesn't, it starts to hesitate, then I'm probably going to exit this trade. Okay. This is actually a little bit more risky. I didn't know the market was this volatile. I usually been trading at the London hours recently. That's $226 risk. I don't want to risk that much. Sell one. Okay, now I'm happy with my risk. But when I'm looking at this is all my strategy is, okay? If I have a higher time frame, so let's say the 15-minute, okay? And I see the 15-minute is bullish, or there's a chance of moving upwards. For example, when I'm looking at this price action over here, this is giving me strong upwards momentum, then I might take a trade for, a higher risk to reward, okay? So all that means is I might take a trade instead of this 1-to-1 that we see right here, which is very low for me. I would maybe aim for a 1-to-3 or a 1-to-4, or just specific areas that I know that I would be confident in it breaking or going towards. And the reason I would be confident in it, for example, let me go to this trade over here. We can see that on this higher time frame, we broke down, but what we had is still bullish structure. So we had structure that was moving upwards. So when we had that structure that's moving upwards right here, we can see this upwards momentum. We came back to what people like to call an order block, supply, demand, whatever you want to call it. And we came back to here. Let me make sure. Nope, Haven't hit yet. We came back to here. We broke down. We actually broke the structure that I marked right there. And if I go back to yesterday's trade, sorry, it's scrolling. Same exact strategy. Look at the line I drew right here that broke that structure. We had the gap that formed. We were at the order block. And I exited earlier. This ended up being, I don't know exactly where I entered. I think I entered right here, back in this gap again, because I saw a lot of retest. I exited this one for a 1-to-1. But this one I could have probably held to break the structure for a 1-to-2. Um, I just was tired. I wanted to go to bed, to be honest. So that was the overall trade. That's kind of the strategy that I look at. It's as simple as that. All right. So if you did have any questions about that general strategy, you can ask in chat. That's my main strategy. I do have a few other things I do trade. So for example, I do like to trade the same exact type of strategy except in a bearish momentum. And we're probably going to move down in this gap. Hopefully we break back up here and this isn't a bearish move. Was that not really that worried about that. If it comes back in the gap, it breaks back up again, that's fine. I do still want to see this grab this liquidity here. But that's the overall strategy for that one. It's the same exact type of trade if we're bearish from the higher time frame. So if I go to my 30-minute or my hour, and if I am looking at something like over here, we have a breakout right here. Okay, we had a gap that formed on the breakout. Okay, and maybe on the even higher time frame of this 30 minutes, we're bearish, so we expect the market to move downwards at some point. Then I could take a trade when this closes below the gap. Okay, take a trade, stop loss at the high, and you could target the next structure, the structure after that, maybe do a take out contracts as you go type thing. So yeah, you could do anything like that. The reason I don't like trading 1-to-1s is you have to have above a 50% win rate. And a lot of times with my strategy, I've noticed that a 1.5 or a 2 is like the perfect sweet area. I haven't done extensive back testing on different risk management. All I know is that 1.52 gives me the amount that I need. I need to test it on a 1-to-3, a 1-to-1 to see which one is overall the most profitable over a period of time. But yeah, this is an example trade. I know this could definitely move down. I don't personally expect this to move below this point. This could come down to this point. I don't want to see that. I want to see on this new 15-minute candle, we try to break this high here and grab this liquidity. This is going to be a long string. These are just meant to be kind of fun short lives because I don't have a lot of time on me now. I do other things. I'm doing my doctorate degree as well, so this is not something, this isn't my kind of biggest thing that I'm trying to do in terms of the streaming side of things. For trading, I still do it almost every day. Okay, and we'll see how this reacts. That's a new 30-minute candle. If we come below this gap and we break above it again, then I might enter another position. But this gave me a setup. I could even, play this a little bit less safe and play this up a little bit higher above this gap to get a 1-to-2 or a 1-to-1.5. But, with this funded account, you want to play it really safe. So that's why I'm only entering one contract to decide until I get back to a safe area. But I did withdraw that $750 just to make sure I got back what I paid for the funded account, the fees and everything, plus an extra 500 and something change. But this is the overall trade we're looking at. We're going to see how long this takes to go up. If you have any questions about my general strategy, or if you want to know if your general strategy is efficient, just let me know, and I can let you know if I have no clue as well. I don't like how this is breaking down this early. It always, I will say with my strategy, it always likes teasing my stop loss. But if it does just hit it, then oh well. I don't like I the main reason I also don't like trading during the day is because even with one contract, it's very volatile for the account size they give you. At least for me. Let me see if there's anything else. Okay, we're not going to see anything on that. Not going to see anything on Bitcoin. I mean, we're seeing the same exact setup on Russell right here. That's a huge rejection. Like I said, we're seeing the same setup on Russell. Probably seeing the same setup on S&P as well. So I'm gonna make this a hopefully a daily thing. I'm not great at staying strict with it. That's why I started doing the shorts. Is because it's a lot easier to start the stream and exit it. But this is hopefully gonna be a daily thing, and that way you can track my last two trades I've taken. Because I'm gonna take a max of 2 trades on stream, and maybe one extra one during the nighttime when I trade as well. So you'll be able to keep track of my profit factor, everything like that. Let me make sure you're able to see this. There you go. I have no clue. Oh, that actually made it worse. Okay, let me fix this again. Okay. Yeah, that's good enough. It's going to stay like that. All right, we're almost at the area where I'm going to withdraw it. I should have added an extra contract, but I'm not going to do that on the London session or during these streams. I just want to show how you can be profitable during the live streams, which has been something that I always struggle with, is doing anything well on live streams, because I've always felt inclined to take a trade when I didn't need to. But luckily, luckily something came up when I started streaming. Which the nice thing about this strategy is it's very good at giving you a good setup, which is very nice. A very quick setup. I can be on the market for an hour, and I know I can get a very confident setup within an hour. Most days, most days. Let me be very, very straight with. That's most days. Okay, I'm gonna move. I'm gonna put a stop loss at break even below this gap, and I'm going to put my take profit up here. And that way, if it comes down to break even, I don't lose any money. I could trail, but I don't. I'm kind of very against trailing because it can, until after I move towards my stop loss, my take profit. And when I do trail, I'll trail at this area where my take profit is at the candle afterwards, and then I'll trail to see how high it can potentially go from that candle afterwards. Okay. I don't know how much higher this thing can move. I would like to see this move higher. I think I might get stopped out here. It's not showing the momentum anymore. That candle was not very, good for me. But hopefully we could still see it grab this liquidity up here. It might not come for that liquidity up there because this did break structure, so it might not be ready. It might just reject straight off this. I mean, you never know. And if I did want to play this safe, I could also play it below this area, but I just don't feel like, I feel like this has already made the move it's going to move if it's going to move up. This is kind of its breakout gap right here, if you want to think of it that way, and we grabbed liquidity. So if it is going to come back down and retest this, I think all the strength is going to be gone. And that's just my hypothesis. I don't know that for a fact until after it does it, but we'll see. Well, let's see. I needs to hold this gap right here. I need to see this, hold that and show a strong candle to give me hope. Very strong candle needs to come out of this. Not looking very hot still though. All right. That's not my take profit right here. If you could see it, I can make this a little bit more visible for everyone. That's good. Stop color. Wait, no. Target color. Hopefully that's a little bit more visible for you guys. We're going to move that right there. And now my stop is going to move above this structure. It might not actually come up to the full gap. I know it sometimes likes doing that, not, not moving up its full gap, but I'm going to play this a little bit safer. I would like to see this gap hold with a strong candle, hopefully. I don't know about that, but that's okay. It's not terrible. Ugh. But yeah, this general trade. You can see trade of 8 on the bottom of the screen. Um, if I click on it, it shows live account. I don't want to show you guys my code. And then the left side over here, when you get a 50K account, they only give you $2,500 once you pass the 50K account funded. And you have to have 30 days consistency on your simulated past account, which you're still able to withdraw funds during the simulated account, but you know, you're not, it's not as easy, I guess, to say. You have to pass a lot of more rules. And once that 30 days comes, if you don't withdraw, then you lose your account basically. But please ask questions in chat if you have any questions. Okay, we're going to play this safe. This could come back in this gap, but I don't think it should not come all the way below the gap now. Soon I'm going to play this at the bottom of each candle until it hits my stop loss. Once it hits this area I was looking at, it's either going to come up. Oh, this is a little bit high. So we're going to wait for this candle closure to see if it stays green. If the candle stays green, then I'm going to, look for the trade to put my stop loss below this candle. And it will either hit my take profit or it won't. Doesn't look like it's going to stay drained. It looks like it wants to retest, but who knows? No, I might keep that down there, actually. Ugh. Sorry if I don't talk a lot. I mean, I'm not usually great at the commentary unless people are communicating or interacting. So the solo commentary type thing. But yeah, this is basically my strategy. This is all it is. I target liquidity if it's not, or target the gap near the top of the structure. So sometimes there's going to be a gap that forms right here. These are what's known as gaps. Okay, so I target the final gap. Or if we're in a bullish structure, I'll target the aim of liquidity or higher. Okay, if it's giving me a setup on the higher time frame. So this same setup could be on the 15-minute as well. This is showing a lot of strength for this. See if we could break above this, and then I'm going to move my stop loss above this previous red candle. I want to see if we can hold above that. And that might just trail my stop loss. Nope. We would have not even gotten stopped out if my stop loss was right here at my area. I mean, we would have not gotten the take profit if that was the case. So it's definitely teasing. Oh, my screen's very blurry. My output's very blurry. All right. And a lot of times you have to, you have to play your trades, stick to the strategy. If I start moving my stop loss up here, it's gonna ruin my whole risk to reward. But for example, this would be a general stop loss I would feel safe at keeping it at, but just because I want to gain at least $50 on this trade, I'm gonna keep it right here because this is still a general safe area if we're gonna show this momentum up here. If this gap closes anyway, then I don't want to stay in this trade. Should hold somewhere between here. Okay. I'll put this right to the right of it so you're able to see. This might be the only trade. I was just trying to get my stream up and running today. Tomorrow might be a little bit longer of a stream. All right, there you go. There we go, and we're stopped out. That's the overall trade. This should sync tomorrow for you guys, but that's the overall trade. My general strategy was shown right here. Very simple video, simple live stream. I know it's not long. Tomorrow I'll try to aim for about an hour and a half in terms of trading and streaming. But yeah, that was the overall trade. I made $120. All of the profit split is mine until 10K. After $10,000, it's a 90-10 split. I'm trying not to withdraw any more money because of tax reasons, my insurance reasons for this year, and I'm gonna get that fixed next year. I somehow got stuck on a Blue Cross Blue Shield kind of like Medicaid type plan that could kill me if I make a certain amount. So I'm not gonna try to do that this year. So everything I make, it's probably gonna stay in the account from this point on. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions. Appreciate it if you would subscribe. If you have any questions, you can leave it in the comments or below the video, below my previous video. This probably will, I'm going to be honest, this probably will show me another setup right here in 1 second on the higher time frame. I can almost guarantee this is going to show another setup. Yeah. So either A, and let me give you this before I go. Either A, you're going to want to see two things. Either A, you're going to want to see the candles reject right here. So a red candle that does not close above this top of the box. Okay. And if that's the case, you can take a short position. Now your short position is going to have a pretty piss poor risk to reward. So you might want to wait until it gives you some sort of setup. And then you can move it, like put it 2 candlesticks up, and then you could target the lowest structure right here. That's number A. Number B, which is the more likely scenario and the better scenario in terms of what you might want to trade, is you hope that this 5-minute candle that we're seeing right here closes above the structure. Okay, so any type of close above the structure, and then you're going to look for a retest below the structure. Okay, into the structure or retest below the structure, and then that's where you're going to enter your straight trade. So you're going to enter your long position down here, and your stop loss is going to actually come below this previous wick. All right, and then you can target. You could target up to here. You could target up to here. You could target up to here for a 1 to 2. Either any of them works. The best probably one is just to stick to 1 to 1.5 down here, and that's probably the best likely outcome. So either A or B is going to happen. That's decent trade either way. I don't have a clear stop loss for B. I mean for A, where you're taking the position downwards. So just be careful with that. But with that position downwards, actually, let me say this. A confirmation for you guys could be if this gap closes. So if you see the candle close below this box, okay, downwards, then you could take a position, a short position, possibly. But you want to confirm that with the 5 minute as well. But yeah, hopefully you guys have a great day. I'll see you guys tomorrow.